This is every heaviest plane ever built. Bombers, transports, cargo lifters, passenger giants, flying boats, even machines that flew only once. Some record-breaking, some never replicated, some too large to exist. First up, World War II-era heavy bombers, the Flying Fortress. This four-engine heavy bomber became the foundation of the American daylight bombing campaign over Europe. It carried up to 8,000 pounds of bombs and was defended by up to 1350 caliber machine guns. Avro Lancaster, the primary heavy bomber of RAF Bomber Command throughout the war. Its cavernous bomb bay could carry loads no other Allied aircraft matched, including the 22,000-pound Grand Slam earthquake bomb designed to destroy reinforced concrete structures. Now this is the Boeing B-29 Superfortress, the most technologically advanced bomber of World War II. It featured a pressurized crew cabin, remote-controlled gun turrets, and a maximum takeoff weight of 135,000 pounds. It was the aircraft that delivered both atomic bombs on Japan in 1945. Consolidated B-24 Liberator, a long-range heavy bomber produced in greater numbers than any other American aircraft of the entire war. Over 18,000 were constructed. It operated across every theater and was adapted for maritime patrol, transport, and tanker roles. Heinkel He 177 Graf, a deeply troubled design. Germany's only operational heavy strategic bomber, was plagued by engine fires caused by its coupled powerplant arrangement. It rarely performed its intended role and suffered chronic mechanical unreliability throughout the war. Handley Page Halifax, the second most produced British heavy bomber of the war after the Lancaster. It served with RAF Bomber Command from 1940 and was adapted for maritime patrol, transport, and special operations missions across multiple theaters. Short Stirling, the first four-engine heavy bomber to enter RAF service. Its relatively short wingspan imposed by hangar width restrictions limited its operational ceiling. It was replaced on bombing duties by the Lancaster and Halifax by 1943. Focke-Wulf FW-200 Condor. Originally designed as a long-range transatlantic passenger airliner, it was converted into a maritime patrol and anti-shipping bomber. It posed a significant threat to Allied Atlantic convoys before dedicated countermeasures were deployed against it. Next up, Cold War strategic bombers. Convair B-36 Peacemaker. This massive 10-engine intercontinental bomber was the first capable of delivering nuclear weapons directly from bases in the continental United States to targets deep inside the Soviet Union. Its maximum takeoff weight reached 410,000 pounds. Boeing B-52 Stratofortress, the backbone of American strategic air power for over 7 decades. This A-10 jet bomber entered service in 1955 and remains operational today. Its maximum takeoff weight exceeds 488,000 pounds, carrying conventional and nuclear payloads across intercontinental ranges. Tupolev Tu-95 Bear. This Soviet turboprop-powered strategic bomber first flew in 1952 and remains in active Russian service. Its contra-rotating propellers produce the loudest acoustic signature of any military aircraft ever built, detectable by NATO forces at extreme range. Now this is the Tupolev Tu-160 Blackjack, the heaviest combat aircraft ever constructed. This Soviet variable sweep wing supersonic bomber has a maximum takeoff weight of 606,000 pounds. It remains the world's largest and heaviest military aircraft currently in operational service with Russian aerospace forces. Rockwell B-1B Lancer, known as the Bone. This American supersonic variable sweep wing strategic bomber entered service in 1986. It replaced the B-52 in the low-level penetration role, carrying the largest payload of any American bomber at over 75,000 pounds. Northrop B-2 Spirit. This flying wing stealth strategic bomber costs over $2 billion per aircraft, making it the most expensive military aircraft ever produced. Its blended composite structure allows it to penetrate heavily defended airspace carrying both conventional and nuclear weapons. Tupolev Tu-22M Backfire, a Soviet supersonic swing-wing maritime strike and strategic bomber. It was specifically designed to threaten NATO carrier battle groups and European targets. Its speed and low-altitude capability made it a significant concern for Western defense planners throughout the Cold War. Avro Vulcan, the delta-winged centerpiece of Britain's V-bomber nuclear deterrent force throughout the late 1950s and 1960s. It delivered Britain's airborne nuclear capability before ballistic missile submarines assumed that role. It saw combat during the 1982 Falklands War in long-range strike missions. Continuing with military transport aircraft. Lockheed C-5 Galaxy. This four-engine strategic airlifter entered U.S. Air Force service in 1969. With a maximum takeoff weight of 840,000 pounds, it can carry fully loaded military vehicles, helicopters, and main battle tanks across intercontinental distances without refueling stops. Boeing C-17 Globemaster III, a wide-body strategic and tactical airlifter capable of operating from short, austere runways in active combat zones. It carries a maximum payload of 170,900 pounds and can deliver outsized cargo directly to forward operating locations inaccessible to larger transport aircraft. Now this is the Antonov An-124 Ruslin. This Soviet-designed four-engine strategic freighter holds a maximum payload capacity of 330,000 pounds. Its nose and rear cargo doors allow simultaneous loading and unloading operations. It remains the largest mass-produced cargo aircraft currently in commercial and military service. Antonov An-22 Ante, the first wide-body transport aircraft ever built. This enormous Soviet turboprop-powered airlifter carried a maximum payload of 176,000 pounds. It was specifically designed to deliver heavy military equipment, including armored vehicles, to undeveloped airstrips across the Soviet Union. Lockheed C-141 Starlifter, the first jet-powered strategic airlifter purpose-built for the U.S. Air Force. It entered service in 1965 and was later stretched to increase cargo capacity. It served as the primary long-range military transport throughout the Vietnam War and Cold War period. Douglas C-133 Cargomaster, a turboprop heavy strategic transport built exclusively for oversized military cargo. It was the only aircraft capable of transporting fully assembled intercontinental ballistic missiles, including the Atlas and Titan rockets. Production ended in 1961 after 35 aircraft were delivered. Ilyushin Il-76, a Soviet four-engine jet transport designed for operations from unpaved and short runways in remote regions. It serves military and civilian operators across dozens of countries. Its reinforced cargo floor and integral loading ramps allow independent operations without ground support equipment. Lockheed C-130 Hercules. This four-turboprop tactical transport has been in continuous production longer than any other military aircraft in history. It operates from unprepared dirt strips, carries up to 45,000 pounds of cargo, and serves over 60 nations in countless configurations. Continuing with commercial passenger giants, Boeing 747-8 Intercontinental, the longest commercial passenger aircraft ever built at 250 feet. This latest 747 variant has a maximum takeoff weight of 987,000 pounds. It entered service in 2012 and represents the final development of Boeing's iconic four-engine wide-body jumbo jet lineage, Airbus A380. The largest passenger airliner ever built, this double-deck four-engine widebody carries up to 853 passengers in an all-economy configuration. Its maximum takeoff weight reaches 1,268,000 pounds, making it the heaviest commercial aircraft ever certified for passenger service worldwide. Now this is the Boeing 777-300ER, the most commercially successful long-range wide-body twin-engine airliner ever produced. Its maximum takeoff weight of 775,000 pounds allows it to carry over 350 passengers on routes exceeding 7,300 nautical miles. It became the backbone of global long-haul airline fleets worldwide. Airbus A340-600, the longest Airbus aircraft ever produced at the time of its introduction. This four-engine ultra-long-range airliner stretches 247 feet. It was designed specifically to compete with the Boeing 777 on intercontinental routes, but was ultimately retired by most operators due to fuel economics. Boeing 747-400, the definitive version of the original jumbo jet. This four-engine widebody entered service in 1989 and became the most recognized commercial aircraft silhouette globally. Its extended upper deck, winglets, and increased fuel capacity gave it a range exceeding 7,600 nautical miles. McDonnell Douglas MD-11, a stretched and extensively modernized derivative of the DC-10 tri-engine widebody. It featured advanced avionics, winglets, and improved engines. Despite strong performance figures, most passenger operators retired it early, and it found its greatest success as a dedicated heavy freight carrier. Lockheed L-1011 TriStar, a wide-body tri-engine airliner that competed directly with the DC-10 throughout the 1970s. Its advanced autopilot system was among the most sophisticated of its era. Despite strong engineering credentials, limited sales volume contributed directly to Lockheed's permanent exit from commercial aviation. Boeing 707, the aircraft that defined the jet age for commercial aviation. This four-engine narrow-body entered service in 1958 and established transatlantic jet travel as commercially viable. Its maximum takeoff weight of 336,000 pounds was unprecedented for a commercial passenger aircraft at its introduction. Continuing with flying boats and maritime giants, Hughes H-4 Hercules, this 8-engine flying boat remains the largest wooden aircraft ever constructed. Built entirely from birchwood due to wartime aluminum restrictions, it flew exactly once in November 1947, reaching an altitude of just 70 feet before Howard Hughes landed it permanently. Saunders Roe SR-45 Princess. A British 10-engine double-deck flying boat designed for transatlantic passenger service. It was one of the largest aircraft built in post-war Britain. By the time it was completed in 1952, the era of long-range flying boats had already ended commercially, and all three built were never operated. Blohm & Voss BV-238. The heaviest and largest aircraft built or flown by any nation during World War II at the time of its first flight. This six-engine German flying boat had a maximum takeoff weight of 220,000 pounds. The sole completed prototype was destroyed by American fighters while moored in 1944. Next up, dedicated cargo and freighter aircraft. Antonov An-225 Mriya. This six-engine Soviet-designed strategic freighter holds the record as the heaviest aircraft ever built, with a maximum takeoff weight of 1,410,000 pounds. Originally constructed to transport the Buran space shuttle, the sole completed aircraft was destroyed in Ukraine in 2022. Airbus A300-600 SD Beluga. This heavily modified widebody freighter was designed exclusively to transport oversized Airbus aircraft components between European manufacturing facilities. Its distinctive enlarged upper fuselage gives it an unmistakable bulbous profile. 5 were built and operated solely within the Airbus internal production supply chain. Now this is the Airbus Belugex, the direct successor to the original Beluga, based on the A330-200 airframe. Its cargo hold volume of 2,615 cubic meters makes it the largest cargo cross-section of any aircraft currently flying. 6 were built to replace the aging Beluga ST fleet across Airbus production sites. Boeing 747-8F, the freighter variant of Boeing's largest 747 derivative. It carries a maximum payload of 295,000 pounds across intercontinental ranges. Its nose cargo door allows loading of outsized freight items impossible to fit through standard side cargo doors on conventional widebody freighter aircraft. Boeing Dreamlifter formally designated the 747-400 large cargo freighter. This heavily modified jumbo jet was built exclusively to transport Boeing 787 Dreamliner fuselage sections between international suppliers and the final assembly facility in Everett, Washington. Its interior volume is the largest of any cargo aircraft currently in operation. Aero Spaceline's Super Guppy. A turboprop-powered outsized cargo transport developed from the Boeing 377 Stratocruiser airframe. Its dramatically enlarged fuselage was designed to carry NASA rocket stages and space program components. It was the primary transport for Saturn V rocket sections during the Apollo program in the 1960s. Douglas DC-8F, the dedicated freighter variant of Douglas's first commercial jet transport. It entered service in the early 1960s and proved exceptionally durable in cargo operations. Many DC-8 freighters remained in active commercial service for decades after all passenger variants had been permanently retired by major airlines. Ilyushin Il-96 400TA stretched 4-engine widebody freighter developed from the Soviet Il-96 passenger airliner. It features a maximum payload capacity of 132,000 pounds. Produced in very limited numbers, it serves primarily with Russian cargo operators and represents one of the last large commercial aircraft designed entirely within Russia. Finally, we have experimental and one-off giants. Douglas XB-19. A program initiated in 1935 to determine the absolute upper limits of American bomber design at the time. When it finally flew in 1941, it was already obsolete. Its maximum takeoff weight of 162,000 pounds made it the heaviest American aircraft ever flown up to that point. Messerschmitt Me 323 the Gigant, meaning giant. This six-engine German military transport was developed directly from the Me 321 heavy assault glider by adding powerplants to solve its catastrophic towing requirements. Capable of carrying light tanks and 130 fully equipped troops, it was devastatingly vulnerable to Allied fighter interception.